Okay guys, in today's video I'm going to go over tuning a pass reject duplexer. It's a VHF band, and I'm going to just get right into it because it's going to be a little bit of a process. The first thing I wanted to point out before we go any further is that if you'll notice there's only one connection to each can here. So if we unscrewed this harness and lifted it up, your transmitter and receiver coming into these two ports would be connected directly together with this T connector here. So the first time you keyed up, your receiver would be burnt out by your transmitter power coming in. So this is kind of like a suicide type duplexer setup, to where if it's not right, you can actually damage your radio by connecting to it. So the other ones with the cavities, sequential cavities, are a lot more forgiving for that. You don't have the ability to accidentally, unless you tune all the things to the same frequency, a lot less opportunity for damage. So be very careful whenever you're doing these pass reject duplexers. Now, there's actually, when you go to look at it, there's 12 adjustments on this duplexer. 4 for the insertion loss, 4 for the center tuning, and 4 for the rejects. The first thing that you have to do is you have to determine on what your insertion loss is going to be. And basically what the insertion loss affects is how tight the bandwidth is that you're going to pass. So the less the bandwidth, the tighter the bandwidth, the more the loss that you get going through it, but the better it performs. And so you would want a high insertion loss if you were at a really noisy site and your receiver was just getting bombarded on all sides with noise, especially co-located transmitters. So that's a situation where you would sacrifice getting signal coming in for that protection from the side noise. So if you're going to a nice, normal, quiet radio site, and let's say you're the only repeater there, then go for minimum insertion loss and get all the maximum signal that you can. Now, the first thing that we're going to do, this is a duplexer that I need to retune. It's got a 159-450 transmit and a 151-340 receive, and we're changing over to 159-270 and 3325 on the receiver. The best way to do this is one integrated unit. So I'm going to start off with go ahead and I'm going to put my dummy loads on the termination ports. And I'll show you when later on, when I hook up to do the other one, how important these are with this particular style duplexer. If you're not terminated, it will not work at all. So just be advised on that. So there's my normal setup, to where my input's here, and then I'm terminated on my two inputs going to the repeater itself. Now the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do the reject frequency on both sides. It's kind of a all these adjustments kind of interact with each other. So if you mess with one, it kind of affects the other, and it creates a kind of a chicken and egg scenario, to where you don't know what to start. So what we're going to do is we're first just going to do the reject, and those are the least sensitive, and we're just going to lock in on those and then adjust everything around to after that. So what I'm doing is I'm generating a signal and from my service monitor here, and I'm sending it into the input of the cavity. And what I'm looking for is here, as a matter of fact, let me just switch these over so I'm not stressing with anything. And what I'm looking for is I'm just sending a signal straight through, and I'm going to be adjusting for minimal output. So I got, and I'll show you here on the camera. So we get these hooked up. Okay, there we go. So if I show you over here on the service monitor, I'm coming out of my generator, going into my T, going through this side. We're going to be doing the receiver side first, and then out of the receiver output into my antenna up here on my monitor. So let me get that back settled. Okay, so if you look over here at my service monitor, what I'll do is I'll start off first just so you can see a big signal here. We'll go 151.34, and we'll do the same over here on the receive. This service monitor basically has a built-in duplex generator. Anytime you want it, you just punch them in. So anyway, you'll see right now, and this is kind of a little bit funny with this service monitor, but we're generating 12, but it's saying we're receiving minus 6.6, which is hot. So what they do is they have this little feature here where it's just they zero it out. So all you have to do is come over here to your units and change it to dBr, and see now it's zeroed out. So that'll be our reference level. So now I'm going to switch frequencies to the frequency we're trying to reject, and then we'll get a new reading level there and adjust for that. So let's just go ahead and enter that in and get it over with. 159.27, and same over here, 159.27. Okay, and you see we're down there, we're already down in the mud at minus 94, and I'm going to tweak these two little cap adjustments here to get as low a signal as I can get. So I probably won't be able to get much better than that, but I'm going to see what I can do. So that's the wrong way. 94, looks like 94 is about as good as I could go there. Now I'm going to go over here on the other adjustment. 92, 93. That was about it. So I was really close to start off with. There we go. So there's 94.29. That's a lot of rejection there. So that's really good. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to move my cable over to the other side. Like so, and you see now we got a really good level because we're back on the other frequency. So we're going to go ahead and flip it around again, and we'll go 151.3325 megahertz. 151.3325 megahertz. Okay, and see we got some good tuning there. So let's come over here and see, get it better. Oh yeah, we're getting 90 there. So let's come over here to this side. And 90. Looks about going to get about the same as we got from the other one, about 94. So that's very consistent. Okay, I'm gonna call it good there. Okay, so that takes care of our rejection. Now for the next part, for the center tuning, I'm going to use a return loss bridge for that part. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and hook that up. So I will first disconnect on there. And now I'm going to connect my generator. And I could go ahead and bring up my tracking generator. And let me get my other cable connected here. Okay. Stay up there. Put my other dummy load on there. Okay, now we're all set up. And once again, let me just show you on the camera. My return loss bridge is going to my center T here, and I'm basically sweeping to look in what the antenna is going to see when it hooks up to the duplexer. If you look over here on the display, you'll see two spikes, and these are essentially the two one-way streets that the duplexer presents to the antenna. It says, I'll let you go down if you have frequencies in this range, and I'll let you go down to antennas or any frequencies that come down this in range. So we're going to go ahead and start off, since we're on the receive side here. We'll do the receiver, and we'll adjust accordingly. So let me go ahead and, okay, once we got it hooked up for the return loss bridge, I wanted to show you the effect that it has, the big effect. Let me move this back a little bit so you can see better. If you look at, take a look at the return loss up here, as soon as I take one of the dummy loads off, the termination, it completely goes away. So it is totally dependent on these terminations. So make sure you're nice and terminated, and before you proceed. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and adjust the center plungers here. The first thing we're going to do is we'll do the first cavity by itself. So let's go ahead and get centered in on the receive frequency. So we'll get that done. .3325, and we're going to go ahead and lower the return loss. Okay. To 1 megahertz, so we can see what's going on. All right, so we're going to do the first adjustment we're going to do is on the first can just by itself. So what we want to do is unscrew from its partner here, and we'll put the dummy load on. So we can see the single cavity by itself. All right, now we're going to go ahead and take our adjustment, and we're going to adjust that dip there to be right on frequency. 153, a little bit more, something like right in there. Okay, that's nice and centered. So let's go ahead and tighten down and lock that in. Like so. All right, now let's go ahead and take the dummy load off and put that second one back into play. Now you can do the individual one by itself and put them together, or I like to do it this way, which is keep them both together, and that way when I adjust the second one, I'm looking for kind of like a perfect W that comes up. It's let me see if I can get it to show you here. Oops. Something like right there. That's the perfect W. So it has the most dip and with the widest bandwidth, so you're not squeezing yourself out on one side. So basically what you're looking for is symmetry, so that here's your center part and you want your two sides to be symmetrical to each other. So that's good there, and I'm going to go ahead and lock it down, and we're tuned for that half. Now we're going to flip around and do the exact same thing on the other side. All we have to do now is disconnect and put our dummy load on. Alrighty, and now we're going to change frequencies over to the transmit frequency. So we'll go 159.27 megahertz. Okay, and there's our cavity. So we're going to go ahead and dial that in and get it centered. Something like that. Okay, that looks good. Let's go ahead and lock it in. Okay, it's locked in. So now we're going to connect back to original setup. Cables back on. By the way, these cables are critical length cables, which means they have to be precisely the right length, and they do that at the factory when they put these on together. So don't ever come and mess with any of these cables or try and replace them or anything like that. It's not worth it. Okay, so now we're back, and once again we're going to try and dial in and get our W. So let's take a look and see if we can't. No, that must be the wrong direction. There we go. Oh, slow down, Jim. And come back. Something like there. I think we're going for a U on this one instead of a W, but I like it just as much. So that's what we're going for there. We're nice and centered on our frequency, and I'm going to go ahead and lock that in as well. Okay, it looks great. Now if I come back and get my span back to 20 here and center in the 155, there's my duplexer. So that looks really good. They look very symmetrical to each other as well. So all right, well that's my procedure for doing a retuning on a pass reject duplexer. Hope that helps, and we'll talk to you soon.